Sagittarius, hello. Amanda here. Welcome to Unseen Hands Healing. This is going to be your shift reading for August. So we are looking at the shape you're shifting out of this month, the shape you're shifting into, and what that shape shift looks and feels like. So Sag, before we get to your cards, as I'm sitting with your energy, it's really interesting. I'm getting sort of a serious energy, an energy of looking up to the stars in the night sky, like really looking up at like this array of stars and asking for help. Okay, well, that's sort of similar to the imagery that's been coming to me for the moon cycle stories each week. If you've been following along on Patreon, here on YouTube, also on Instagram, I'm posting a story each week that the cards tell me about that particular moon phase. And over the last month or two, there's this consistent message coming from the star, and that is to look up, because the star has a message for you to essentially teach you about faith and teach you about hope, even in the time of the Tower, which is the time we are in. The Tower in the tarot talks about a time of incredible structural crumble in order to rework the foundations that we stand on. And that can be an incredibly scary, tumultuous, confusing time. And so because of the order of the cards in the major arcana, we move from number 16, the Tower, to number 17, the Star. They go hand in hand here. And I think the Star has been calling all of us collectively to look up and find hope and faith in this time of structural collapse, basically. And I think there's something very personal for you, Sagittarius, in looking up at the stars. I'm just feeling this moment you're having. Maybe you've even had a moment like this recently, of just sitting out alone at night, looking up at the stars and asking for help. Okay. Let's get some cards for you, Sag, see what we can elaborate on here. What is the shape that Sagittarius is shifting out of in the month of August? Okay, interesting. Eight of Wands. It did come out in reverse, as you saw. We'll see if we're going to take that. There's another card that wants to come out, and I'm not sure where it goes yet. Death. Endings. Okay, we'll keep it on the board and see what happens. What is the shape Sag is shifting into in the month of August? Two cards came out. Okay, interesting. You're shifting into Four of Swords and the Empress. Notice how their backs are to one another. This is really fascinating because these cards came out in the Scorpio reading right before you, but they were facing one another. Scorpio was, or the Empress was really trying to talk to this Four of Swords person, and now for you, Sag, something is happening in reverse. There's an opposite energy here. So this is sort of making some sense if you're shifting out, and then, Scorpio energy is present in your reading with the Death card, so that's really interesting. There may be a Scorpio connection, a scorpionic connection for you. Oh, and I'm realizing I'm recording this reading under the Scorpio first quarter moon. Interesting. So if you're moving out of a phase of forward movement, Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands is fiery momentum, moving you forward, almost like there's greater forces behind you, carrying you forward, okay? This intense, rushing forward. If you're moving out of that, and it's see this? There's an interesting energy happening here. I guess it goes like this. so far. There's a card in the middle that we're going to draw yet, but there's a back-to-back thing happening in both of these cards. Back-to-back, back-to-back. It's like if you're moving out of forward momentum straight into the death card, it's like that death energy is an energy of endings. It's an energy of like stopping you in your tracks. Notice how the horse is still. The horse is not moving. Death is here bringing endings. This time of forward momentum is coming to an end. And here we have respite, right? Is that what it says? Yeah. On the corner here, it says respite. So I think you're coming into a time of, the Four of Swords talks about resting the mind. It talks about like needing to pull back and meditate and reevaluate. And that's more of the energy that I felt of you like sitting up under the stars being like, okay, I need higher guidance here. I'm being stopped, maybe? Maybe you're being stopped. Your momentum is being stopped. Hold on, this card wants to come out for the centerpiece. Wow. Ace of Cups, the roots of water. Something new, aces are new beginnings. Something new wants to grow here, which is why your forward momentum is being stopped, Sagittarius. This is a Sag card, Mercury in Sagittarius, direct action. Sag loves to take action. Okay, let's do it. Let's get up and go. Let's stop talking about it and thinking about it. Let's just do it, right? Let's put the pedal to the metal and move on this. That's your energy here. But that is not the energy of this reading. Take a look at this. You are being called into a respite, taking a break, retreating into the attic space, right? Swords, mental energy, the mind. Your mind needs to rest because I think there's something trying to come through. And it's like this person is hard at work in their attic. I think something new, like there's a maybe a new thing that's trying to come into your life, but you need to be in your own headspace for that to come through. And here it is trying to come through. And look at how the Death card and the Empress are both looking up at this Ace of Cups. This new thing starting to emerge from the water. Perhaps you need to rest your mind. Okay, now I'm thinking about the fact that we got Eight of Wands as Mercury in Sagittarius. Mercury is the mind, and then we got a card of resting the mind. Maybe it's like your mind has been going, fueling something that you've been moving forward on, and it's like perhaps your heart, something emotional is ready to emerge. There's something new emotionally that's trying to come up into the light of day, to push up and out. These are seeds. It's a lotus seed pod. The seeds of something else is trying to come forward now, which is why some major forces, interestingly enough, death and essentially creation, are coming in to be like, slow your roll, Sagittarius. I think you're getting a cosmic timeout here, because this energy that I'll bring in, this is how she came through in the Scorpio reading, which was create and cultivate. What you are creating and cultivating must stop for the moment, because there's something new trying to emerge. And you need to take a break in order to hear it, I think, and feel, more importantly, feel it emotionally. Feel how it wants to come through, rather than like mercurially approaching this by like thinking about a good idea and then just like immediately taking action on it. There's a step in between here, or maybe even this is actually the first step, being the ace. It's like rather than going right from mental processes to physical manifestations, there's a heart energy, a water energy, the roots of water. Yeah, I think you are being slowed or stopped altogether, because the death energy is really speaking to me of halt. You are being halted perhaps because your roots need to grow deeper into your emotional intuitive nature so that that can be step one in your creative and generative process, so that your creative and generative processes and the direct actions that you take come from this place of emotional, intuitive, heart-centered initiation. Fascinating message. Okay, Sag. Yeah, okay, that's all that wants to come through so far. We're going to now pull some other cards and get deeper into this reading. So if this is resonating so far and you would like to see the rest of the reading, follow me over to the extended reading, which will be on Patreon. Click the link in the description box below and I'll take you over to Patreon, which is an online community I've created for folks who are enjoying my work. If that sounds like you, follow me over there, read the description so you know how a patronage works, and then I will send you the extended reading for August. All right, Sag, take care. I'll talk to you soon. The unseen is bringing you the water iris, the water lily, the lotus. Okay, here's something beautiful. So if temperance, traditionally depicted as holding two cups, in one hand, it is a cup that contains fire. In the other, it is a cup that contains water. If you are a fire sign, Sag, you understand fire element. Now you are being introduced to your counterbalance here, the water element. That's what this is about. Now you are like, I'm seeing Zelda, and like you're like granted, you've reached the point on your journey where you're being like granted this new tool, which is the water iris, and it like gives you an additional song to sing on your whatever. Nerd. Okay, but this is a new tool for you to work with, and it's going to bring you into balance.